Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing this eyeshadow look as a palette bingo using the Solomona 2 eyeshadow palette from Udenzai. I always do these palette bingos with a friend of mine over on Instagram. I will leave her information down below. She's amazing. You have to check out her profile. If you even kind of like my eye looks, you're just gonna die over hers. So in today's look, what we did was we randomly pulled 5 shades it was like a couple weeks ago. She did her look. I finally have gotten to mine, and if you want to see how I did it, then just stick around. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I generally upload at least 3 videos a week, all eyeshadow related content. So if you would like to see that, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any new videos. Alright, so let's get these numbers pulled up. I entered 15 shades because there are 15 in the palette, and the first number that I got is number 3, called Neptune, Beautiful Aqua Matte. Then I got number 14, which is the shade Eternal. This is a lovely bronzy, peachy sort of shimmer. And then number 9 is the shade Galaxy, a beautiful deep eggplant matte. I pulled 9 again, so I skipped forward again to number 6, and that is the shade Meteor, which is a lovely lilac-y sort of shimmer. And then number 13 is the shade Solar, which is a beautiful peachy vermilion colored matte. Alright, so those are the colors that I have to work with today. And I have to say, because I do this bingo as a collaboration with someone else, I'm not able to pull the colors on camera, which I know is technically more fun for the viewer, but I need to pull the colors ahead of time and then give them to my friend, and then we work on them when we're able to. So I'm sorry that I take the fun out of that, but at the end of the day, it's still randomly chosen colors and it's still a lot of fun. So I've decided, after much thinking, because I had like 3 different ideas for these color combinations, I've decided to do a halo eye, and that's actually the first time that I've done a halo eye in a palette bingo, I think, so this will be fun. First though, I'm going to prime my eyes using the Glamlit Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. It has been a minute since I recorded a video. It's been over a week since I did my eyeshadow at all, which is pretty unusual for me. Generally, I do 3 or 4 looks a week, and I usually film all of them. And I've actually been pre-filming for when I go on vacation, but then I took a week off. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work out or not. But the reason I took a week off is actually several-fold. And one of the reasons is because I was having tooth problems, which I know you guys saw already, and that was sort of hurting my mouth, and I wasn't feeling good, and I went to the dentist, and it was just, you know, a couple things all lined up. I had a couple of late nights with the baby, and that made me sleep late, and then because I was sleeping in, I didn't have time, like early mornings, to film before my children needed me. It's just been a lot. There were a couple other things that came up as well, which I may update you on at some point, but not today. And so I just haven't filmed or done any eyeshadow in a week, or possibly even over a week. And it feels a little bit weird, but I also, honestly, I wasn't that excited thinking about doing my eyeshadow. I think because I wasn't feeling well, and so when you don't feel well, nothing's exciting to you. Like, nothing makes you want to get out of bed. That's kind of how I was feeling. So I am excited. I feel fine right now, and I am excited to do this eye look today. I feel a little bit bad because I made my friend wait for a while to actually get this look done, but I hear my baby fussing. I'm gonna go nurse her and put her back to bed, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back and ready to start this eye look. I want to do a halo eye, and what I'm thinking of doing is the orange in the crease, deepen it with the purple, and then put that sparkly orange on the center, and then I'll do the blue and purple on my lower lash line. I could really see these colors going a couple different directions, but I decided to do a halo eye today, and so I'm going to start with a fluffy blending brush, grab the shade Solar, and I'll start this in my crease, emphasizing the space on the outer and inner corners. I'll carry it through, but not really heavily in the center. So let me update you on my dental work. I went to the dentist about 2 days ago, which was about 5 days after I made the video where I was talking about needing to go to the dentist. It was a holiday weekend and stuff, and it just took a little while to get there, but it was a brand new dentist, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and it had been a while since I went to the dentist, but the people were all super nice, and the office was nice, and I found a good one, so that's awesome. And they did the works, you know, they did all the x-rays and all the checkups and cleanings, checking for cavities, checking for gum health, etc., etc. And the news was that my teeth are actually way healthier than I thought they were, which was such good news. I mean, I was expecting my mouth to be a mess. It's been 8 years since I went to the dentist. I was certain that I had some cavities. I knew I had the one broken tooth that obviously needed to be addressed right away. I didn't know how deep that decay went inside that tooth, so like if it hit the nerve or not. I might need a root canal. I was expecting to need a lot of work. and they told me that my teeth are actually in really good condition. So that was exciting. Apparently, I don't have the cavities that I thought I had, and the decay on the broken tooth does not go so far down that I would need a root canal. And my gum health is good, and even though it's been years since I went to the dentist, I haven't built up hardly any plaque. So yeah, really good news. I'm so glad to hear that, because we were actually, if you watched my video where I was talking about it, we were looking at dental tourism, thinking that I would need thousands of dollars of work and dental tourism might be, you know, a more affordable option. But I don't think we're going to end up doing that at this point because it doesn't seem necessary. So that was really good news. It's going to cost a couple $100 with my husband's insurance to get the broken tooth dealt with. Like, they'll clean it out and then build it up and then put on a crown. And there's a tooth next to it that might have a little bit of a cavity, so she's going to deal with that as well. And then apparently I never got all of my wisdom teeth. I only got a couple of them, so I don't have to worry about those causing problems. And it was just a really good visit filled with good news. I was happy to hear what they had to say. With a much smaller blending brush, I'm going into the shade Galaxy. This is the dark purple matte. I'm going to place this only on the inner and outer corners. This is going to be the depth of the halo eye. I'm not going to go any darker than this. It's a beautiful color. I'm so enjoying this palette. I think the colors are absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. So hey, I wanted also, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. It's been a while since I filmed and I'm kind of scatterbrained. I wanted to talk about PoshMark versus Mercari because I've had some experiences with both of these apps lately, and I have had a good chance to compare the two of them. I started off using PoshMark because that's the only one that I knew about, and I didn't have any problems with PoshMark between the sellers, the buying or selling process, the products themselves. I always had a good experience with PoshMark. Then I discovered Mercari, and Mercari is the same concept. It's just, you know, secondhand. I mean, I buy cosmetics there, but you can buy all kinds of stuff: clothing, shoes, jewelry, household appliances, all kinds of stuff, whatever you want. There are categories for everything. And Mercari I found to be better as far as the user experience. It was a little bit easier to use. You could do things like save searches. So you could save a search term and you could search for sale only or totally in general, which you can't do on PoshMark. And so every time you log into your account, you could see updates on those specific items that you were searching for, which is a really, really nice tool. Mercari also had a couple of extra features when it came to actually listing that helped sort of narrow down exactly what you were doing. Overall, I think Mercari's user interface is better. With a flat C or shader brush, I'm now going to grab the shade Eternal. This is my orangey, bronzy sort of shimmer. And I'm going to spray it just because I like to spray my shimmers and control exactly where they end up, and also control any fallout that might be present. And I'm going to put this at the center of my halo eye. So overall, I find that Mercari's user interface is better. It's just easier to work with. You can have more tailored results. You don't have to, I mean, on PoshMark, if you search for something, it will save the search like in your history. So if you go back into the search bar, it'll bring up things that you've recently searched for. And that's pretty nice because you might have forgotten, you know, oh, that's right, I was looking for X. But with Mercari, because you can actually save the search itself, every time you show up, it'll give you a little heart next to my likes, and it'll show you all the new entries under that search category. So you can search something general like eyeshadow, or a brand like ColourPop, or you can search specific things like Kaleidos Club Nebula. And anytime that there's a new listing with that category, it will show up under your likes as a little notification. And that's a really, really handy and useful and just well thought out feature. Going back into Galaxy, the purple matte, and just sort of working these two shades together a little bit. So I started to use Mercari, maybe preferring it slightly to PoshMark just for the user interface, until I wanted to buy something on Mercari. And that's where I discovered one of the biggest differences, in my opinion, between the two apps. Mercari has a better user interface, but when it came to actually purchasing something, on PoshMark, you can lowball a seller. You can be like, okay, you've got this palette listed for $30, I'll give you $10. And then you can negotiate back and forth. On Mercari, you can also negotiate back and forth, but you cannot lowball. You cannot offer them more than like $3 or $4. It's a certain percentage below what they're asking for. So if they have the palette listed for $30, you can't offer them anything less than maybe $27. And that for me was a huge deal breaker as far as which app I prefer and which one I want to use, because I'm not going to say that I'm cheap. I grew up in a very frugal household, and I learned to, find a bargain where I can. And a lot of the palettes that I have in my collection, I've bought secondhand for really good deals. I have no problem with paying full price, but if I can find something for a really good deal and the seller is motivated to get rid of it, then I don't see any harm in starting with a lowball offer and then working up to a negotiated price where we can agree. And sometimes I get lucky and the seller will agree at my lowball, and I'm like, oh, they said yes, that's exciting. All right, so I've got a very smoky sunsetty thing going on up top here, but I'm gonna start to bring in the blue and purple colors now. I'm going to start by taking a smaller and pinched blending brush, grabbing Neptune, which is the more aqua colored matte, and I'm going to put this in my outer corner. I think I'll carry it like halfway through, so up to about halfway under my eye, and then focus it on the outer corner. I'm going to let this blend into the purple, and I'll probably deepen the very, very outer corner with more of the Galaxy shade. So anyway, on Mercari, you cannot lowball. And again, it's not that I object to paying full price, but if a seller is really motivated and they just want to get rid of something, a lot of times they're quite willing to accept a lowball offer or negotiate down from their original price. In fact, I think some people kind of start a little bit high expecting to negotiate. You can't do that on Mercari. You can only offer a little bit below their asking price, and they might negotiate $1 or $2, but that's not much. And that's where I discovered that I like PoshMark better, because with PoshMark, I could offer, again, $10, and they might say yes, or they might work me up to like $15, something like that, for an original $30 asking price. And it's really a matter of how much am I willing to pay. Even if they stick to their guns and they say, no, I definitely want $30 for this palette, well, it's up to me to decide whether I'm willing to pay $30. So you can do that on Mercari, but on a much, much tighter scale. With that same flat blending brush that I used for the original shimmer, I'm now going to take the shade Meteor, and I'm going to focus it on the edge of the brush where it's a bit thinner, well, a lot thinner. And Meteor I'm going to spray as well. And I'm going to place this on my inner corner and then meet the blue matte. So that's actually the biggest difference that I found between PoshMark and Mercari. Both are pretty easy to use. Mercari has a better format when you're actually using the app, so that's really nice. But when it comes to buying, I much, much prefer PoshMark. So I was actually pretty annoyed. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but I was pretty annoyed the first time I tried to buy something on Mercari. I found a palette that I wanted, and I was like, oh, it's listed for $35. I wonder if I can get them down to like 16. But no, I couldn't even try. Now, they may have been willing to sell it for 16 if someone were to ask them, but you're not allowed to ask them. Going back into Meteor just a little bit to lay it over the blue in this outer corner. I'm not even carrying it like a third of the way onto the blue. I'm really just tapping right out here where the blue meets the purple to merge them together a little more smoothly. And that'll tie into the purple here in the inner corner as well. And I feel like I'm getting some, it's not patchiness, it's just a lack of blending really, right here. Let me work at that a bit. So now that I've discovered this about PoshMark versus Mercari, I'm kind of tending back towards PoshMark. But Mercari is still a good app, and I do, because I have bought and sold things within both apps, I have a balance within both apps. So at some point, like if I'm not buying or selling anymore, then I'll just transfer my balance to my bank account or have them send me a check or something. I mean, you don't have to use the money that's in your account. You can actually take it out. But that's what I do generally when I'm buying palettes. I don't want to dip into our bank account because we're on a budget, so I'll sell palettes, and then that's the balance that I use to buy something new. Okay guys, this is the eye look. What do you think? I'm not in love with it, but I think it's kind of cute. I don't know, these colors were hard to work with. You had warm tones, cool tones, and then like two completely different color stories between the bronzy orange and the blue and purple. It was kind of tricky. Like I had a few ideas, but none of them were remarkable. I'll bet my friend's gonna do something amazing. She always does. Seriously, you have to check her out on Instagram. She's so creative, and her pictures are incredible because she has a background in graphic design, so she has an eye for taking really attractive pictures with the lighting and the posing and the colors. She's great. You've got to check her out. Her eye looks are, honestly, they're much better than mine. So if you like my eye looks, you're gonna love hers. I'm gonna tightline with a lavender color. This is from Uden's Eye, number number 8. And then I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the other side and do some winged eyeliner and everything else that I want to do today. And then I'll be back to show you how it all turns out. Okay, and here is how it turned out. I didn't do a winged eyeliner after all. I just lined the upper lashes and left it at that. I'm wearing a little bit of highlighter from BH Cosmetics, and on my lips I'm wearing a ColourPop lip oil in the shade Hay, and that is everything. So a couple final thoughts on PoshMark versus Mercari. Both of them have pretty high fees. I think it's like 20%, something like that. But for me, I'm willing to wait on PoshMark for just somewhere like a better deal where I can lowball and somebody will agree, or a seller who's willing to negotiate. I personally am willing to wait for that because, again, most of the palettes that I buy are old news, so it's not really a rush for me to get the newest thing. If I want the newest thing, which doesn't happen often, I will just buy it outright, just buy it new. But that's only happened a few times. For me personally, I'm just willing to wait for a good deal, and I can find a better deal on PoshMark because I can do more of a gap between the listing price and my offer price. So those are my thoughts on PoshMark versus Mercari. And as for the eye look, I do have some thoughts there as well. I'm not loving this. I do think it's pretty. I tend towards these sunset eyes so much more often than I intend to. Another of the options that I thought for these the combination that I pulled was to do a blue-purple sort of thing with the more warm tone colors on the lower lash line. So it would have been the aqua color all over the lid, deepen it out with Galaxy, the dark purple, and then put this light purple shimmer on the lid. And I think that that would be beautiful as well. That was my second option, but I so often do blue and purple that I wanted to challenge myself into a different direction. And that's why I did what I did today. I do think it's pretty. I think it's nice. It's just not show-stopping. It's not as exciting as I would like it to be. And honestly, I think the reason for that is the lack of contrast. I feel like my lid is almost monochromatic. It's all sort of the same depth. There's nothing super light or super dark. I really like contrast between dark and light, whether it's a halo eye or light inner corner, dark outer corner, and I don't have that with these colors. Now I did consider putting the light purple shimmer in the center instead of the orangey shimmer, but I thought that might be a weird contrast. I don't know. I think today's eye look is pretty. I'm not completely in love with it, but there you go. That is how today's video turned out. I'm sorry I'm a little scatterbrained right now because it's been a while since I filmed. I guess I'm out of practice. Anyway, that's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the look. I appreciate you hanging out with me and clicking on my video. Don't forget to consider liking and subscribing if you want to see lots more colorful content. And until I see you again in my next video, I hope you have a great day. Bye!